All right. Peace and love, everybody. It's Royce Thomason. We're back again for another live video. We come on to encourage, give hope, extend some healing, and all of that good stuff. Today is actually the 22nd of August. Full moon today, I believe, if I remember correctly. Welcome, everyone who's here. We love to know who's here. So if you wouldn't mind dropping in the chat, dropping that in the chat, we certainly would love to have that. We don't know who's here until you comment. So, hey Jennifer, what's going on? Good to see you. Yes, bountiful bright blessings to you, my sister. Okay, so oh, why this happens sometimes when I get ready to speak. Maybe because I hadn't been talking all day. Anyway, excuse me. So today's the 22nd of August, and our focus for today is really dealing with, hey, I hear that, Jennifer, transcending the matrix. I know that's right. So our focus for today is really on healing unresolved hurts, on healing unresolved hurts. The reality of the matter is that all of us have some hurts that we've experienced in our lifetimes. Some of those hurts are ancient, things that took place a long time ago, things that we're not even necessarily consciously aware of, disappointments or feelings or experiences of rejection or abandonment that could have taken place very, very early in life, or different coping mechanisms that we took on to keep from being hurt in the future, and things that we may continue to do now that may be subconscious patterns that we kind of learned in an attempt. In our mind, it's an attempt to protect ourselves, but in reality, it's actually blocking us off and keeping us from experiencing the fullness of the lives that were intended for us, or the fullness of the life that was intended for you or for me. So at any rate, the reality is that there is nothing that you have ever forgotten, right? You might not remember, you might not consciously recall what you had for breakfast yesterday or what you had for dinner on Tuesday of last week. That's information that, that might not be something that's important to you, or you may not, you may try to remember an actor's name that was in a particular movie and may have a difficult time recalling that. Recall is a little bit different from the type of memory that I'm talking about. The reality is that there has never been a single thing that you have ever forgotten from the point of your conception to this moment right now. Okay, I'm gonna let that breathe for a minute. There has never been a single thing that you have ever heard, seen, felt, or experienced that you have forgotten from the point of your conception to this moment right now. Now, you may not be able to actively retrieve those recollections, okay? Different parts of the brain store different memories, but not only are different parts of the brain responsible for memories, actually, every cell of your body, and that's all your body is made of, is a conglomeration of billions upon trillions of cells that all have their own job, that all have their own function, their own responsibility, all hopefully to contribute to the greater good of the whole body. Just like we, in a sense, are all cells in a greater body. And the point is for us to all contribute to the greater good of the body. Unfortunately, that's not always how it works. And similarly, that's not always how it works with our individual physical human bodies. There are certain situations where the body fails um, to operate according to the optimal game plan, right? And there may be cells that may, be attacking your body. There may be times where certain parts of your body may just be kind of shutting down and operating correctly. But as I said before, every cell of the body, every single cell without exception, every single cell of the body, I hope this is still broadcasting. I'm getting an indication that there may be a weak signal. Every single cell of the body has a brain and it has its own function and responsibility. And there's this thing called cellular memory. Okay. Cellular memory is something that, for instance, martial artists are familiar with. They engage in certain movements in certain situations, and then if the time is needed, their body will just respond accordingly. Uh, Many athletes, can kind of relate to that. The kind of cellular memory that I'm referring to is a little bit different. That's from the context of when we experience different things in life. Some of those things that aren't necessarily things that sit well with us or feel good to us. Some of those things are experiences of trauma, experiences of pain, experiences of disappointment, very uncomfortable or negative life experiences and emotional experiences that end up actually being stored in different parts of our body. It could be things that were said to us, at any point in our lives, at any point in our lives, that depending on how we took that in, how we processed or failed to process that, what we took it to mean about ourselves ended up storing itself in certain parts of the body. Those memories, those traumas, those painful experiences can be stored in different parts of the body. And then when your body ends up breaking down in certain areas of the body, it's pointing to the fact that there's some unresolved stuff that is going on in the cells in that area of the body. Okay? There's some things that need to be resolved in that specific area. Not only that, there are other life issues that can manifest, not just from a physical standpoint, from in terms of the way that we relate to people, right? There could be hurts from a long, long time ago, from childhood or again, even in the womb, that you could have experienced that could manifest as one trying to protect oneself now. They can show up in things like fear of intimacy, pushing love away, always needing to have drama going on, a variety of different things that aren't necessarily healthy, but things that we actually have taken on as a coping mechanism, all as a result of some unhealed hurts. And we all have had, like I said earlier, we've all had different hurts that we've experienced at different points in our lifetime, right? And those things, they don't just go away just because we ignore them or just because we kind of tuck them away somewhere. We tuck them away somewhere so sometimes so that we don't have to feel those things. But the reality is, until we've really dealt with them, they're still there. Sometimes people don't want to deal with the uncomfortability of having to process all those raw emotions, for instance, right? Sometimes people don't want to have to deal with the crying and the, you know, just letting all those uncomfortable emotions come to the surface. And I get that. That is a way that some healing can happen. However, the good news is it's not necessarily the only way uh, healing can happen in terms of of healing unresolved hurts, right? This is good news, I think. Okay. And so we want to actually offer some space for that to happen today, for some unresolved hurts to be resolved. And so I see that we've got several people in the chat. If there's anybody who's here who's got some things that you're dealing with, or they're dealing with you, or some things that you've kind of tucked away in a drawer underneath a bunch of stuff, put away in some closet somewhere where you don't have to see it or don't have to deal with it. Um, but that you'd really like to experience some healing regarding. I'm not going to take you through any deep emotional state or anything. We're just going to kind of release some of those blocks in a way that will be very, very peaceful, pleasant, and gentle. Okay. Um, there have been times where, doing this work that I'm blessed to participate in and to share with others. Um, there have been times where that I've been working with somebody and people who are in physical pain. Physical pain is something that you're very keenly aware of, right? Even working with people with physical pain, where while we were working, the release was so gentle that they didn't even recognize that a shift took place until I asked them, "How do you feel now?" And it was just so peaceful and so gentle and so subtle that they didn't even recognize it leaving. Mm. That's how good God is. Now, it doesn't happen that way with everybody all the times. There have been some people who've said it felt like somebody reached in and pulled the pain out. Okay. So there are different experiences. And sometimes people have said that, they could feel something shifting, or something warm or something tingly. I never know what a person is going to experience. I just show up to be a blessing and to offer some healing. And however that person experiences it, so be it. But the intention is that the healing takes place. So, such is the case for you here today. So, if there's anybody here who's kind of dealing with some stuff that you would like some healing around, or some support in terms of healing, or would like to experience some relief from, or maybe has some old wounds uh, from the past, or even things that may be generational or intergenerational, things, patterns have been experienced in your family, of things that may be affecting and impacting you in a way that, isn't necessarily desirable for you, where you'd like, to be able to be the one that breaks the mold, breaks the pattern, and moves things in a more healthy direction. And there's no shame, by the way, for anybody who has any comment. We've all got stuff. We've all got stuff going on. All of us are in need of restoration and wholeness, healing and wholeness. Okay, there's not. I can't think of a single exception of any human being that I've ever met while walking the face of this earth for nearly next year will be 50 years. I haven't been walking for that long, but you get the point that I'm making. So I don't see anything that anybody has typed specifically in terms of wanting some healing. What I will say is that regardless of how intense or how deep your situation might be, I do want to affirm there is still hope. There really is nothing that's beyond the power of God to heal. Okay. Now, I feel like I've been really blessed as a vessel of healing. I can't say that I'm going to be necessarily able to heal everything. Ultimately, God is the healer, but um, I am very thankful to be able to serve in a capacity where some healing is able to be made manifest. Okay, so I see seeking validation outside of self and vanity. Yeah. how many people can relate to that, seeking validation from someone outside of themselves? We've got whole industries that are built upon that, right? Multi-billion and trillion-dollar industries that are based on um, people seeking validation from someone outside of themselves, and on vanity, right? And I'm imagining that when you say that, you're not referring to Denise Matthews or the late Denise Matthews, who, interestingly, uh, just as a sidebar, um, she made some significant changes in her life. The singer Vanity from Vanity Six. She made some very significant changes in her life and actually ended up becoming an evangelist, and ended up experiencing some pretty miraculous stuff in her life. And she totally uh, went in a different direction than her life had been going before. And she actually got to a point where she would, where she consciously chose that she wasn't even going to accept royalty payments for work that she did as Vanity and in that life. Not many people do that sort of thing. But anyway, I guess the uh, some part of me felt a desire to express that for some reason. Okay, so anyway, let's go ahead and work on this. Maybe there are others who can relate to this as well, in terms of vanity and seeking validation outside of oneself. And so uh, I'm just going to do a quick silent prayer real quickly. Okay. Well, I guess it just dawned on me that, Jennifer, you didn't post that privately. So I was trying to refrain from saying your name publicly, but it dawned on me that you didn't post that privately. So I guess I didn't necessarily need to do it silently per se. Um, oh, she prayed for you a few times, Faith. That's cool. Um, I sent her an email some time ago. I don't believe I heard back. At any rate, may she rest in peace. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on this, and this will be for Jennifer and anybody else um, who can relate to this in terms of uh, so the way that the whole system has been kind of set up is to capitalize upon uh, our insecurities, our fears, and our insecurities, right? And so let's look at, just real quickly, in terms of the collective consciousness that deals with like fear and sense of inadequacy. Okay, that we need something outside of ourselves to be adequate. That in and of ourselves we're not adequate. So we want to kind of really change that programming and really kind of program into our brains and into our cells and even into our bone marrow that we don't need that outside approval, and just receive that you're loved and accepted and cherished beyond measure uh, by a God who loves with an unconditional love, and you deeply and completely love and approve of yourself. Deeply and completely love and approve of yourself unconditionally. Okay. Yeah, because we place a lot of we place conditions on how we love others, but we also place conditions on how we allow ourselves to receive love and loving ourselves. So let's actually do away with those conditions. Getting like 6 million conditions. So we want to kind of do away with those conditions that we place around love and acceptance. And really, unconditional love, in a way, is unconditional acceptance. Hmm. Learned that from my teacher. Um, yeah, beautiful soul, by the way. All right, so let's look at uh, societal pressure. Societal pressure for what is deemed as appealing or acceptable. And again, the parameters through which love can flow. That's a big thing, actually. Okay. All right. So we want to kind of replace that with just a commitment to self-love, a deep and abiding commitment to self-love. To get to that self-love, we might need to get rid of some self-loathing, though. All right. So we want to kind of delete the root cause of that self-loathing from psychological trauma that's existed, from various forms of negative programming, from socialization through parents and role models, the school system, the media, okay, and any other thing that we have, anything and anybody else we've deemed to matter more than ourselves. Okay. All righty. And let's look at weakening that attachment to and acceptance of the lies that we've been told about ourselves. Okay. All 879 million of them. All right. And in that place, or in place of that, let's just welcome in a sense of uh, self-approval, in addition to the self-love, self-acceptance, validation of one's own beingness. Okay. All right. We want to, in order to get to that, we want to do away with all of the messages that have come from external sources that have said that your life doesn't matter. So we want to clear that out. Thank you. Want to clear that out and replace it with recognition that your life really matters a whole lot. There are 200 to 400, some 200 to 400 million sperm cells that are released in a single ejaculation, right? Every single one, a woman's body is designed to attack as a foreign agent. There's a lot of work that one of those sperm cells has to do to reach and fertilize an egg cell. Your existence is not by happenstance. There was extreme adversity that had to be overcome just for you to be conceived, let alone born. You were not a mistake. You are meant to be here exactly as you came into the earth. Okay? And any messages other than that, uh, we want you to recognize as being an untruth. Okay. and embrace the uniqueness of you. Okay? Deeply and completely embrace the uniqueness of you. Yeah, dig that. People we look up to the most are frequently the people who are just the most themselves. There was this movie that was out several years ago called I Love Huckabees. And actually, you may see it as I Heart Huckabees, because it was I and then actually a heart and then Huckabees. And uh, God, I can see the young actor's name. I can see the young actor in my mind's eye. His name, I'm not recalling at the moment. But Angelica Houston and Dustin Hoffman were in this movie as well. They had very key roles uh, in this film. And there was a point where something came up, and they were like really reflecting deeply. How am I not myself? How am I not myself? And they were looking at how, in what ways they're not being themselves, so that they can course correct and be more themselves. Right? It's kind of a cool moment in a movie. I heart I heart Huckabees. Check it out if you feel so led. Okay, so let's look at any rejection of self. If you don't reject yourself, that no one else rejecting you really matters, or anybody else rejecting you doesn't really matter. Hey there, Gene Thomason. Good to see you today. All righty. So let's look at uh, actually fetal trauma that may have occurred. Okay, we want to resolve that fetal trauma. Um, for some of us, our parents getting the news of the fact that we were going to be arriving on the scene wasn't perceived as good news. So, um, any again, we heard everything that was going on. Um, anything that, uh, in terms of negative statements or feeling unwanted or anything like that, sometimes when we feel unwanted, we do all these different things to try to get approval, so that we're worthy of actually having our lives and receiving love. Okay, so we want to kind of um, shift things. Actually, it's already looking better. Um, just deeply embracing the profundity of the miracle that each of us actually is. Not in an arrogant way, but I mean, phew, there are 7 billion people on this planet right now, and none of them has the same fingerprint that you do. How cool is that? Nobody was designed to be exactly like you. God made you and didn't make you from a mold. And there'll never be anyone exactly like you again. You were born to be who you are, not who somebody else wants you to be, but who you actually are. Okay, so let's let's look at some stuff regarding that in terms of who. Above the portals of the temples at Delphi, there was the inscription, "Know thyself." So let's get into it, like a deep knowledge, understanding, and appreciation of the self that God made you to be, right? According to the divine design by which God created you uniquely and specifically, and fully embracing that, 100% fully embracing that. Okay. Ooh, yeah, that's looking good too. All right. And so let's also, while we're at it, let's also, while we're at it, um, deal with the proclivity to require others to need our validation and approval. Okay. All right. We don't want to get in this negative feedback loop. Uh, the reality is you reap what you sow, and we don't want to sow stuff in others' lives that we don't want to reap in our own. Okay. Conversely, we want to sow in the lives of others what we want to reap in our own. All righty. We be master planters. Yes. All righty. Okay, things are looking much, much better. Jennifer, how you feeling? Um, what's up, O? Good to see you, my brother. Good to have the Tuskegee fam in the house. So the people who've commented, it's beautiful. So many different people come into your life from different areas, different walks of life. Jean and I call each other cousins because we have the same last name. Her last name by marriage. We don't know that there's any biological relationship between her husband and I or not, but um, and Jennifer and I certainly go way back, although we didn't really know each other in high school. Uh, that Tuskegee vibe and Faith from my time in Houston. We're actually on the same team at work for a little while. Ah, it's wonderful how there's a song. It's a really cool song, by the way. For whatever reason, music is just coming out of me in today's session. Um, but there's this really cool song that says, I want to thank you, all the nice people I've met. It's a cool song, though. It's uh, a fun and funky song. I dig it. Um, Maybe by the end, I'll tell you who it's by. So, Jennifer, you said that you're feeling lighter and grateful. All righty. I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. Um, says, happy to be here. You're the man and always have been. Listen, man, I'm just trying to be like the main dude. Doing my best to do that. Okay. All right, Jennifer, glad that you're feeling clearer. All right, wonderful. Okay. So I'm gonna kind of clear this out real quickly. So um, just for you as well as everybody who's involved, anybody who wants to kind of join in and soaking up some of the healing. Um, yeah. Okay. So we want to really kind of uh, real quickly clear any any inaccurate perceptions as it relates to the healing. Okay, so that the truth of the healing may be manifested and received and experienced fully. Alrighty, and be able to um, go forward and enjoy and ah, I didn't even think about that I was going to say this, but the word that came up was bliss. Enjoy and bliss. All right. Profound self confidence, self love, self validation, and self acceptance. Ah, yes. And I just thank you, God, for the opportunity to be able to participate in this and for the healing that's being and has been made manifest. Ashe and amen. Okay. All right. Any that's kind of you to say, oh. All right. Anybody else have any kind of unresolved things going on that you'd just like some healing support regarding? This is to me, this stuff is a beautiful thing. We had a class last weekend, all weekend, last weekend, Friday through Sunday. Uh, you're very welcome, Jennifer. Jennifer was there. And we had a great time. Some wonderful healing took place. And I'm just thankful to be able to share this, as I'm approaching this milestone birthday. I was thinking this morning about what I want my life to be. Um, what I want my life to be. And I want this earth to be a more loving, to be a more accepting, to be a more generous, to be a more healthy place because I was here, right? I want somehow my time on this planet to make a difference in people's lives. I want it to make a difference in how people relate to themselves, how people relate to others. I want, because of my time on this planet, there to be more peace, more joy, more honoring of the divine, right? We get caught up in so many things that aren't of really the greatest significance. We take our cues in so many instances from places other than God. But if I can, during this time that I have on this planet, uh, be able to make some type of positive impact and share a little more love, a little more warmth, a little more kindness, a little more understanding, a little more forgiveness, a little more acceptance, a little more grace, uh, and to be able to extend some healing. I'm very, mm, I'm very thankful for the opportunity to be able to be that and to do that. Uh, I'm just having a moment, y'all. I would apologize for it, but I'm really not sorry about it. So I'm just having a moment, though. I feel very thankful that I've been blessed to be able to be a blessing to people. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, folks. All right. Anybody else have anything going on that you'd kind of like some support for? Um, Again, I'm blessed to be a blessing. I've been really blessed with some pretty awesome tools, and if the stuff that I have in my toolbox can be a blessing to you, I'm certainly happy to share. Um, I'm certainly happy to share. And I mean, even if anybody has any physical pain that you're dealing with, we can deal with that right now on the spot, and that pain will either decrease or go away altogether. Yes, through the Facebook or the YouTube live, it's going to happen. All right. So if anybody has any physical pain that you're dealing with, let us know in the comments. We're more than happy to support you in that area. And if you have any, you know, maybe any particular hopes for the future that you'd like, you know, just maybe some support, some support in terms of reaching certain goals or uh, fulfilling your destiny or anything along those lines. Again, put it in the chat. I'm happy to support however I can. It doesn't make me any greater than you to be able to support you in that way. Um, just like fans cheering at a game does not make the fans greater than the people that they're supporting, the players that they're supporting. We all have a role that we play in this on this grand stage called life on planet Earth. We're all playing our parts. I hope to be playing mine well. Um, and if I have a role that I can play in your life that results in a blessing, very thankful for that. Very humbled and very thankful for that. Okay. So I know it's a little bit of a delay between the time I say stuff and the time that you all actually hear it. But if nobody else has anything, I guess we'll get ready to close it down for today, and until the next time we convene. Um, so I don't know who all is here. I've seen Jennifer, oh, uh, Jean, and Faith. I'm not sure who else is here. Um, and oh, it's really good seeing you. I'm always appreciative whenever there's other additional masculine energy around. Um, you know, uh, we can't let all the pressure be on the women for stuff that relates to wellness and health and healing and wholeness and spiritual growth, development, and unfoldment. What's going on, First Lady? It's good to see you. Glad to have you here on today. Um, so I'll put it out there one more time. Anybody having any physical pain in your body right now? Anywhere in your body, or any emotional discomfort or anything like that? Thank you. Oh, you have a great week as well. Um, hey, I do my best to walk my talk and to talk my walk. My walk gives me stuff to talk about, I tell you. Anyway, if anybody else has any physical pain that you're dealing with, let me know. We'll address that right now on the spot. Um, or if you've got some area of concern that you're dealing with, just drop that in the chat. We'll give some support. If not, like I said, we'll just go ahead and uh, conclude things for today. We had a wonderful training last week, and this stuff that I do, the reality is, you know I have a hard time getting people to believe that I'm no more special than anybody else. Um, the truth is, I'm not. I am special. I am. I acknowledge that. I am unique. And so are you. Okay? I'm no more special than you are. The reality is that we're all unique and precious. Monique, you're very welcome. My pleasure, my sister. Um, but like this stuff that I do, anybody can do, you know. Um, Anybody can do. It's just a matter of, learning how to access it and tap into it. Okay. Um, can show you how to do that. I'm happy to show you how to do that. We were doing it last weekend, 3-day training. By day 2, late in the day on day 2, people are doing what I do. I just have to convince people that they're as good at it as I am. Uh, I've just been doing it longer. That's the reality of the matter. Uh, but anybody who gets access to it can do it just as well as me. Just like anybody can turn on a light um, just as well as Thomas Edison or Lewis Latimer were able to, and anybody can make a phone call just as well as Alexander Graham Bell could, right? Um, yeah, and as a matter of fact, you can probably do it a whole lot better because he didn't have access to long distance, probably. He couldn't call overseas, couldn't do a 3-way call. Okay. At any rate, we've got some more actually training coming up next week. The level 2 on mental and emotional healing, neurological upgrading, and brain optimization. Ooh, I'm excited about that. Mental and emotional healing, neurological upgrading, and brain optimization. Can you dig it? Looking forward to that. That's something that only people who've done the level 1 training would be eligible for, because there's some basic things that you need to have down before doing that training. But looking forward to that, the second weekend in September. That's going to be awesome. We're doing a little spiritual alchemy. You know, the there were scientists that predated chemists referred to as alchemists. They believed that there was some primordial matter, that all physical substance essentially had the same root, if you will, okay, the same essential foundation. And so, like the alchemists of old, what they would try to do is transmute base metals like lead and iron to more valuable metals like silver and gold. Okay. But really, at the heart of what alchemy is to take something and, in a sense, purify it, transform it into something even more valuable. Okay. Or something more desirable. So last class started on Friday the 13th, the one that we had last weekend. And we just took that and we did a shift on it. It wasn't about bad luck. It was about good fortune bringing blessings in. And that was what was taking place on Friday. We kind of changed that thing around. And this class is coming up next month, is starting on September 11th. How much emotional trauma took place as a result of that and has been taking place since then? Well, that's the day that we're going to start of 2001. That's the day that we're going to start. This class is dealing with mental health and brain optimization, upgrading your nervous system. Yeah. Looking forward to that. Jennifer, I know that you are too, and most certainly Dulcie is. But definitely looking forward to that coming up. If anybody is actually interested in training, I'm more than happy to share with you. You can either send me a direct message on Facebook at Royce Fletcher Thomason, or you can send it to me on Instagram, either Royce Fletcher Thomason or at Transcending the Matrix. Probably see it quicker on Instagram than I will on Facebook, just because my email on Facebook, excuse me, my direct messages on Facebook get so inundated. But at any rate, I've certainly enjoyed our time together. I'm thankful for it. I give great thanks to you, God, for making this possible to be with my brothers and sisters today and offer something of value. I'm thankful to be able to serve in this capacity. Love you, God. And I love you all. And I wish you an absolutely wonderful and deeply enriched, blessed, favorable week going into this new week. May something unexpectedly good happen in your life, and may you be the reason that something unexpectedly good happens in the life of somebody else. God bless you. I love you, and I wish you a bunch of peace and love.